don't have an attorney. They just give me an appointment to come to court today, but I do not
Yeah.
have an appointment.
Well, ask
I mean,
him,
an
does he
attorney.
understand that he's entering his guilty plea without the assistance of a lawyer? I want to be sure that he understands that.
Okay, usted está entrando a está entrando a una negocio de culpabilidad, ¿se está declarando culpable?
Sí, porque absolutamente yo estuve
Okay, pero entiende
limpiando
que,
el arma.
pero entiende que se está declarando culpable sin tener un abogado con usted que lo asesore. ¿Entiende eso?
Ajá.
Yes.
All right. Does he also understand that by entering the plea that we will not have a trial?
¿Usted también entiende que al declararse culpable no vamos a tener un juicio?
Pues no sé, yo como le digo, no sé cómo está. Soy culpable, pues yo absolutamente pues estuve limpiando el arma y no sé, la estaba montado el tiro, lo estuve limpiando y se disparó sola. Yo también me fregué el dedo solo.
Okay. Yeah, I just really don't know. But what happened, I was just cleaning my firearm and it went off on me.
Okay.
I even hurt my finger while I was doing that. So I didn't even know that was loaded.
Okay, but tell him that I just need to be assured that he understands that by entering this plea that we will not be having a trial.
Okay, lo que el juez quiere que le diga es que se asegure, que me asegure que usted sabe que usted al declararse culpable no vamos a tener un juicio hoy. ¿Eso es lo que usted quiere?
Ajá, soy culpable, sí.
Yes, I am guilty.
And ask him, is he currently under the influence of any drugs or alcohol?
Actualmente, ¿está usted bajo los efectos de alguna droga o alcohol?
No.
No.
And does he think it is in his best interest to enter into the plea?
¿Y usted cree que es su mejor interés que usted entre a una declaración de culpable?
Sí, culpable, sí, pues absolutamente yo tuve la culpa. Fue mi error.
Okay, yes, absolutely. I was guilty. It was my mistake.
Okay, tell him that the court will accept his guilty plea.
Okay, so el tribunal va a aceptar su declaración de culpable.
¿Está bien?
Okay.
And that the court will impose a fine of $200.
Y el tribunal le va a pedir una multa de $200.
Está bien.
Okay.
Ask him, is he able to satisfy that today, or does he need some 2 weeks to pay it?
¿Usted puede pagar esos $200 el día de hoy o necesita
Sí.
más tiempo?
No, ahora mismo lo pago.
Yeah, I could pay it right now.
Okay, let him know he will be, after he has signed his plea form, which will be in Spanish, he will proceed to the clerk's office to pay the sum of $200.
Ok, so después que usted llene el papel donde se está declarando culpable, usted va a la oficina de la secretaria donde pagará los $200.
¿De dónde puedo yo pagar el ticket? Que aquí tengo el ticket.
Sí. Where can I pay the ticket?
Tell him he will be directed to the clerk's office momentarily to pay the ticket.
Ok, después que llene el papeleo que tiene que llenar, le van a indicar dónde tiene que ir, que es a la oficina de la secretaria para que pague su multa.
Muy bien, está bien.
Sí.
Ajá.
Ok, thank you.
This looks like this is the only case that we have for Jackson, so please tell Officer Jackson that he is excused.
Que se ve que le están diciendo es al
Officer
policía,
Jackson, you
no se
are
puede
excused,
excusar.
sir.
So
All right,
están
thank you, sir.
excusando
Have
al
a good one.
No
policía.
problem. You take care.
You too.
All right. Ms. Yolanda, is there anyone else in the courtroom?
Yes, we have Mrs. Subtle.
Now, that's the one you said was a not guilty, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, no, other than the 3 that you've already said, is there anyone else there?
No, that's it.
Okay, then why don't we let the people in the queue?
Ajá. Ok, muy bien. Usted me va a enseñar entonces. No me puedo pagar.
Because everyone in the courtroom, you said, is entered a not guilty plea, correct?
It's only, one other person and then we have a witness.
Okay. But I just want to be sure everyone there entered a not guilty plea, correct?
Yes, it's only one person in here.
Okay, thank you. As you come into the queue, if you will please type your full name and your email address in the chat and send it to FPMC. Madam Interpreter, you may want to repeat what I'm saying. Let me repeat it again.
Okay.
As you come into the chat, please type your full name and your email address in the chat and send it to FPMC.
Sí. Cuando usted entre aquí al chat, por favor escriban su nombre completo y su correo electrónico y lo mandan a FPMC.
Again, everyone coming into virtual court, please type your full name and your email address in the chat.
Ok, una vez más, todo lo que está entrando aquí a esto virtual, por favor escriba su nombre y su correo electrónico en la parte de chat.
Please understand that you are in virtual court.
Por favor entiendan que estar aquí en un tribunal virtual
You're being recorded via audio and video.
se está grabando todo, ya es por teléfono, por video y audio.
Therefore, there
lo
are
tanto-
certain rules that apply to virtual court.
Por lo tanto, hay algunas reglas que aplican a la corte virtual.
First rule is that you cannot be operating a vehicle while you are in virtual court.
Primera regla es que no puede estar manejando cuando está en el tribunal virtual.
Secondly, please keep your video turned on at all times.
Lo segundo es que mantengan su video prendido a todo momento.
Please make sure that you have an appropriate background and there are no distractions in your background.
Y estén seguro que tengan la parte de atrás, el fondo es uno apropiado y que no haya ninguna distracción.
Please make sure that you are dressed appropriately.
Asegúrense de que estén vestidos apropiadamente
And that you have proper internet connectivity.
y que tiene que se pueda conectar a la internet correctamente.
All right. Ms. Madison, you will not be able to do virtual court while driving a car. So I'm going to disengage your session and just give you time to come to the court, or you need to get in a permanent setting. But you're not going to be able to do both. Momentarily, I'm going to call the calendar. When you hear your name called, if you will please announce your plea. Be mindful, you came to court and entered a not guilty plea, and that placed your case on a trial calendar. Today is that day. Our prosecutor is not here this morning, so some cases will be continued, other cases I will resolve. But first, I want to hear your plea. If it is not guilty, simply state that. If you are changing your plea to guilty or nolo, please let me know that as well. And when you hear your name called, please unmute your device. The first is Candace Cannon.
Not guilty.
All right, Ms. Cannon, you have two offenses and Officer Chavez is not here today, and this is your second time being on the trial calendar, from what I understand. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, one of the charges, which is the lane change charge, I'm going to dismiss. Do you understand that? Because the officer is not here.
Yes, sir.
Are there any witnesses here in the Candace Cannon matter? This incident happened on June the 2nd, 2022. All right. The other offense, Ms. Cannon, is what's called a document case, which means either your car was registered or the vehicle you were driving was registered or it was not registered. This particular charge can be brought against you whether you are the owner of the car or not. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any paperwork that shows that the vehicle that you were operating was properly registered on June the 2nd, 2022?
Yes, sir. I sent it in to the court already. They had me send it in a couple weeks ago.
Okay. Can we verify, Ms. Yates or Ms. Payton, that she can show that this car was in fact registered on June the 2nd, 2022?
One moment.
And if you need for me to come back to her, Ms. Yates, I can.
Can you please?
Sure. All right. The next person is Danette Everett. Danette Everett. That is an FTA. It is 8:26 a.m. FTA means that the person failed to appear. Travis Greggs. Travis Greggs. That is an FTA. You told me that Antonio Jefferson is entering a not guilty plea. Sean Jones or Shun Jones. Shun Jones. FTA. Raquel Madison. I think that was the young lady operating the vehicle. Raquel Madison.
It was.
All right. We will get a notice to her. Set her down for in person, okay?
Yes, sir.
Jeremy McLaughlin. Jeremy McLaughlin. FTA.
The witness is also here, Mr. Searcy.
All right, Mr. Searcy.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, sir. You were a witness in the Jeremy McLaughlin matter?
I mean, technically, I wasn't a witness. I was the one that actually got hit, but I came to court because.
Well, that makes you the witness if you were involved. It was an accident?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and in the legal arena, we call you a witness, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't.
No, that's
I didn't-
fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Let me just tell you, he is not here, so an FTA will be issued, okay? And once he has either been picked up or his license suspended and he's reported, then we will reschedule this and we'll notify you of the new court date, but I don't want you waiting. I don't want you sitting on this calendar when he's not here, okay?
Okay, because I know it got rescheduled. It was in November, and I'm like, I didn't know why it got rescheduled. I just got another court date for
Yeah.
February the 8th today, and I'm like, so I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do.
No,
And
I appreciate you doing that, and I wish I had more folks like you, but I will just tell you, he's not here today. So you can get on back. Looks like you work at Home Depot.
I'm actually an educator. I'm a teacher.
Okay. I thought you had on a Home Depot vest. Well,
Oh, no, sir.
what grade do you teach?
I teach kindergarten through 5th grade.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm glad to see you in the courtroom because you are a good representative of what people need to see, okay?
Thank you, sir.
All right. So you can click off and they will notify you of the new court date. Do we have Mr. Searcy's? Well, they're going to mail you the court notice, okay?
Okay.
Has your address remained the same?
Yes, sir. Still the
All
same,
right.
sir.
Well, you take care of yourself, okay?
All right. Thank you, sir. Have a
Okay,
good
no
one.
problem. Bye-bye. All right. Micaiah Obler-Bryce.
Here, Micaiah Ola-Bryce.
Yes, Ms. Obler-Bryce, the officer in your case has a legal excuse for not being here today, so this matter is going to need to be reset. Do you understand that?
Sure.
Have you typed your name and email address in the chat?
Yes.
Do we have her contact information?
Yes.
All right. You will receive notification of your new court date by close of business tomorrow. Do you understand that? Through your email, or they will mail it to you, and it may take a few days for it to come in the mail. Are you still at the same address?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, young lady. You can disengage from this call.
All right.
Jamie Ordaz. Jamie Ordaz. That is FTA at 8:30. Anaya Reed.
Yes,
How are you doing, Ms. Reed? You have a speeding charge and a possession of marijuana less than an ounce. What is your plea to the charges, young lady?
I did NOLO for the possession of marijuana, and then for the speeding, I did guilty.
All right. So you're entering a guilty to the speeding and a NOLO to the marijuana.
Yes,
Do you understand that by entering the guilty plea to the speeding charge and the NOLO plea to the marijuana, that you're doing this without the assistance of a lawyer?
Yes.
Do you also understand that by entering into the plea that you are waiving your right to a trial?
Yes.
Young lady, are you entering into this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
And do you believe it is in your best interest to enter into the plea?
Yes.
All right. Do you have any questions that you want to ask me?
No, not right now.
Okay, you know this fine is crazy, don't you? It's high. Okay, because of the speeding charge. Do you understand that?
Yeah,
Okay. Have you taken a safe driving course recently?
I have.
When did you take it?
I have it right here. I gotta email it to y'all, but the completion date was 12/29/22.
Of 2022?
Yes, sir.
Do we have any notes in her file regarding what would happen if she took a safe driving course, Ms. Yates or Ms. Payton?
One moment.
Okay,
Also, Judge Freeman, she doesn't have anything on her driver history.
okay. So young lady, it looks like you are young too, like 21, 22 years old.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I need for you to slow down.
Understood.
So let me just say this to you. I need to reduce this down because you were going 24 or more miles over the speed limit, you're supposed to lose your license for 6 months.
Right.
Yeah. So once I get proof of this safe driving course, now when are you gonna get that to me? Because you know I need it today.
So actually I thought it was in person, so I brought the paper, but I can get y'all the digital copy when I hang up.
Okay, you thought it was in person. Are you sitting outside the courthouse?
I am.
Why don't you go in and give it to them?
Okay, that'll work too.
Yeah, why don't you do that? Okay.
Okay.
All right. I want you to go in and give it to him. Ms.
Okay.
Yates, I'm gonna reduce her speed to put her 14 over to 54 in a 40. That'll take her outside of a license suspension, okay?
All right.
Miss Reed, that fine is $840 for both offense and 8 cents.
Okay.
Are you able to satisfy? Do you need some time to pay that?
I need some time.
All right, do you need more than 2 weeks?
Yeah, I'll just take more than 2 weeks.
All right, we will place her on probation for 12 months. Her probation will end the moment it is paid, so place her on pay-only probation. And while she is on probation, there can be no more moving violations. Do you have any pending moving violations that I don't know about?
No.
Are you sure? Because you said that a little hesitant.
I want to say no.
Okay, well, why don't you want to say yes and tell me what's pending, and then I can tell you if it's a moving violation.
I just got a parking ticket. That was it.
Okay, that's not a moving violation, okay?
Yeah. So yeah,
All right.
okay.
All right, so if you'll go inside, they're gonna give you the probation information. They will get your plea where you will enter a guilty plea to the speeding charge, which has been reduced to 54 and a 40 because
Okay.
you completed a safe driving course. Now, all of this is contingent on you providing proof of completion of a safe driving course in December. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you'll go inside, they'll take care of you, but you can disengage from the call, okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right. Sherry Smith had already been continued. Next one is Ronald Stidwell. Ronald Stidwell. That's an FTA. It is 8:35. Next is Destiny Subtle. I understand she's entered a not guilty plea.
Yes.
Next is James Tarver. James Tarver and the witness Tanya Stiles. James Tarver and Tanya Stiles. All right, Mr. Tarver is FTA at 8:35. Ms. Stiles did not appear. Last is Carlos White. Carlos White at his FTA at 8:36. All right, let me go back through the calendar because I'm going to release some police officers now. On on Candace Cannon, were we able to verify that that car was registered on that day or not?
It does not appear that it was registered on that day. What I see is a commencement date of May 11th, 2022. And the citation was on May the 10th.
I don't know for Candace Cannon, I have the citation on June the 2nd on my docket. Is that wrong?
I'm sorry, Judge. One moment.
Okay.
Expired tag. The expired tag, I'm showing May the 10th.
The tag expired on May the 10th of
No,
2022? Okay, so
No,
the tag
no.
expired on May 10th of 2022.
I'm showing that the ticket was May the 10th, 2022. And
Okay.
I'm showing on the document that she provided us was
Uh-huh.
that her tag commenced on May the 11th, 2022.
Okay, then maybe these tickets may have happened on 2 different days. So the expired tag charge, what day do you have the ticket on that?
May the 10th.
Okay, all right. All right, so Ms. Cannon, it looks like the expired tag ticket you got on May the 10th.
No, the tickets that he gave me, they were for the same day. But when my license, my registration and everything hadn't been expired, I'm actually registered in Muskogee County and I work up there. And when I reached out to the DMV and the person from the DMV sent me the copy, I asked him, was there any time that my registration was expired? And he said no.
Okay, well, let me just say this to you. You need to go, if your car is registered in Muskogee County, I need to see the tag receipt showing that it was registered on the date of the offense. Do you have something from Muskogee County showing the tag was valid? Because the DMV can't answer this question.
Not the DMV, but the tag office. That's what he emailed me.
I understand, Ms. Cannon, listen to me. I understand what somebody told you, but understand we're in a court of law right now, and I need a document that supports what you're saying. So what document do you have that supports this?
The document that I sent in is the document that they emailed to me from the tag office.
Okay. Do we have anything from the tag office, Ms. Yates?
What I emailed in is exactly what he sent me, sir.
I know. Do you know if let me verify that Forest Park received what you emailed in. But
Okay.
let me ask you this, while we are on the phone right now, can you scroll through your emails and resend it?
Let me see if I can find it, okay?
Well, when did you send it?
It's been a while, back at that first hearing.
Okay, well, it's always good to, when you come to court, to make sure that you have your paperwork right there in front of you, okay?
Okay,
So why don't you see if you can locate it?
Okay, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I just figured since I had already sent it, I'm sorry.
Well, let me tell you this about email, and I think it's a generational thing. So my generation doesn't consider an email received until the person tells you they've received.
Okay.
It sounds like your generation assumes it's received the moment I know I sent it.
Okay.
And I'm just letting you know that's not the way that I operate, because so much can happen when you're sending something electronic.
Okay, I understand, Your Honor.
So I can't assume they received it. So here is what I'm going to do. Let's just reset you for 1 o'clock today.
Okay.
And find it, resend it to Forest Park, okay?
Okay.
Now, let us first, do you have your ticket in front of you?
No, I don't.
So where are you getting the date that the ticket happened on June the 2nd? Because it looks like Ms. Yates is looking at your ticket and it shows May the 10th.
I'm not sure. I didn't say that it was June the 2nd. It's
okay.
Your
That's
Honor,
what I
I'm
thought.
sorry.
All right,
It's been so
then
long
it looks
ago.
like, okay, then the docket, let me just do this. It looks like your ticket date was May the 10th, and it does look like you got your tag on May the 11th, which would be the next day. Do you understand that?
Okay.
That's what she is telling me. Now, I just need to know if that is based on what you sent in. So Ms. Yates, let me come back to you. Have we located what she sent us, or do y'all have it at all?
I have what she sent, and I just emailed that everything from her packet to you.
Okay, let me look at what she sent me, Miss. I may
Okay.
have gotten everybody confused because there seems to be some issues with the docket right now, but it's all good. I'm gonna look at it right now, okay?
And I'm sorry, Your Honor.
That's
I'm
all
sorry.
right. I mean, okay, so what she sent us, so what you sent me was the ticket, which the ticket was May the 10th.
Okay.
What I don't have, so Miss Yates, what I have is,
If you scroll down, you should see the other documents attached.
yeah. So I'm scrolling down to see what you sent, but Miss Cannon, I think you need to get your hands on it.
Okay.
So what I'm looking at is her driving history, and I'm looking at okay, so it looks like you didn't get your tag until May the 11th of 2022, and it expires on May the 5th of 2023 of this year. But you've not submitted anything that showed your car was registered on May the 10th.
Let me see what days.
All right, so do you have something that shows it was registered on the 10th?
I'm trying to look and see what he sent me, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
Then why don't I do this? I'm gonna reset you till 1 o'clock today to give you time to get your hands on that, okay?
Okay.
All right, now you will deal with the prosecutor, Ms. Yates. What we need to get from her is something that shows her car was registered on May the 10th. If you cannot locate it, Ms. Cannon, let me just tell you that fine is $165, and that is a non-reportable offense, but you will have to pay the fine. Do you understand that?
Yes. And when will I have to pay the fine? When is
You
it
can
due?
have up to 2 weeks, or you can be placed on probation to pay it. That's left up to you.
Okay.
Now, the moving violation has been dismissed for want of prosecution. Do you understand that?
Yes. Yes,
All
sir.
right, have you typed your name and email address in the chat?
Yes, sir.
All right, then you can disengage. Ms. Yates or Ms. Payton, do we have her information?
Yes, we have it.
All right. Well, thank you, Ms. Yates, for that clarification. Ms. Cannon, we will see you back here at 1 o'clock. Do you understand that?
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, she's reset till 1 o'clock. All right, let me just go down. So it looks like the only officers that I need based on trials are Officer Malone for Antonio Jefferson, I need Officer Taylor for Destiny Subtle, and I think that is it. Ms. Green, do you have those as the only 2 trials?
Yes, Malone and Miss Subtle. Yes,
Those are the only 2, correct?
that's correct.
All right, so then we only need, let me go over the officers again. We only need Officer Malone, and we need Officer Taylor. All the other officers are excused. And the interpreter, I don't think that we need the interpreter. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, Madam Interpreter, thank you so much for your service, okay?
Thank you. You have a good day.
You take care.
Okay, thanks.
All
You
right,
too.
now let's start this trial with Antonio Jefferson.
Your Honor,
Yes.
Malone was switched to detectives. We actually sent him notification, but we're gonna try to get him down here.
Is this the first time the case has been placed on the trial calendar?
One moment.
I think he's here in the building. We just gotta remind him that he's supposed to be here today.
Well, you all do that. I will go to the next case and let me know, but if if this is the second time it's been on the trial calendar and a continuance the first time by the city, I'm gonna probably dismiss it for want of prosecution, but you all let me know.
Okay.
All right, next, let's go to Ms. Suttles and Officer Taylor. All right. And there is no witness in the Suttles matter, is that correct?
No.
All right. Everyone that is going to testify, if you will please raise your right hand. Are you going to testify, Ms. Suttles?
Oh, my bad.
I know. Okay. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say I do.
I do.
All right, that relates to you too, Officer Taylor.
I do.
All right, Officer Taylor, was this a car accident?
Yes,
All right. Was there another car involved?
it was.
All right, Ms. Ms. Yates, do we know if the witness was subpoenaed to be here today?
Yes,
All right. They were subpoenaed to be here?
yes.
Okay. Taylor, did you see this or did you come up after the fact?
I came up after the fact.
All right. Ms. Suttle, it does not look like the witness is here. What's the witness's name, Ms. Yates?
Kristen Hollingsworth.
Christian Hollingsworth.
Kristen?
Kristen.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right. Ms. Suttles, this case is going to be dismissed for want of prosecution because the witness did not appear. Do you understand that, young lady?
Yes, sir.
They're going to give you a plea form, enter a not guilty plea. Please understand that if the prosecution gets evidence within the next 6 months, they do have the right to reinstate the charges, but as of right now, it's being dismissed for want of prosecution. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, young lady, after you've entered your not guilty plea, you are free to go. Do you have any questions?
No.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So now, Officer Taylor, you are excused. Thank you, sir.
All right, have a good one.
All right, take care. Next, the last trial. Is there anyone else that has come to the courtroom since we called the calendar, Ms. Green?
No, sir.
All right, wonderful. And have we determined, first off, if Jefferson, if this is the first time it's been on the calendar? And number two, do we know where Detective Malone, is he gonna show up? Do we have an ETA time for him?
Yes, he is en route down here to the courtroom, but it appears that Mr. Jefferson has been reset before.
Do you know if it was on behalf of Mr. Jefferson or was it on behalf of the city?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, give me a moment. I'm looking at the notes.
Well, if Detective Malone is on his way here, we will just do an ETA. It is 8:49. We will, if he's not here by 9 o'clock, I'm gonna go ahead and dismiss this case for want of prosecution.
Okay, I think I just saw him. Give me 1 second.
All right, I'm gonna step away for 2 minutes and I will be right back.
Okay.
All right, thank you all.
Can you do that here, or does he have to do it wherever?
Where was it? Wherever that location is, go to the jurisdiction where that is. So if it was the Decatur, the Clark County, you gotta find out which jurisdiction that particular location falls in.
Okay, thank you.
No problem, you too. Malone. Have you seen Malone out there?
Yeah,
He needs to be in here.
had to make it from American.
Yeah, he did.
We're waiting on you.
He could have just came in the door with me.
Oh, damn.
It was all sent to him. What's this person's name?
I probably got it in my.
Hold on, Jefferson. Yeah, it's in your email. You should be able to just open it up in the email. It's the ticket for disorderly
Yeah, this one.
and the report is attached. The judge said he'll be back in a second.
Oh, that's what.
Do you didn't get it?
Now I'm, changed my password on my computer.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
How you doing, Roy?
Well, and yourself,
Yeah, that's right. So,
you all keep moving on up. And increasing in different positions. She gonna be next, a judge. Get out the streets.
streets out of it. Yeah.
Now I understand.
Okay, now, oh, that's, you know, that's contagious.
6 o'clock, I had to leave.
You got the subpoena? I'm sorry. We sent it on, hold on. It's Yates sent it out on. Mhm.
I remember seeing, I remember reading. Yeah, that letter.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. Okay, I got it. You're trying to get out. I looked at your
Now I could pull it up if you want to read it.
You wouldn't do.
You know.
Acted the way you did me, you just disappeared. I wouldn't do that.
Here's his ticket, history,
I'm leaving.
and the
Don't say
report.
that to me. Look at this.
Maria, I had it not. I couldn't take a look at it. Do you remember David?
Yeah.
He, yeah, he wanted Marietta, but he's, Leland Drive. Do you know what that is? It's 5 minutes from me. From my hotel, it's 3 in, Marietta. It's peaceful. That's the best money I ever made. Just in peace and doing nothing.
I was one of them. Not far from my house.
Really? We get vacation, PTO, insurance, we have benefits, we have so much.
Oh, I remember this.
We have so much. That I didn't have at this job.
Yeah.
Once I in my letter of
She here?
resignation, they.
But I was there.
Money. Said no.
Well, he made.
I know everything that happened. I know everything that happened. Two dudes just fighting. It was unclear. It wasn't really clear. Who started it?
What is this? Oh, who did that?
Stop.
Yeah.
Because of that.
No.
They were talking about your new appear. I'm saying, speaking of that one, be sure to appear.
Remember this case?
Yeah.
You didn't like me.
It's, it was, you remember when, Yeah. I was like close to evening time. We was about to be, I know I was thinking about the sewer issue. That's why they was just, but them two dudes got to argue. Supposedly fighting. One of them, the other one, you know, they said they had. That's at least that's on one side. So.
That's half of course.
Yeah, but I remember I couldn't tell who started.
Okay. We're gonna wait a little bit more time. We got about 5 minutes that we will
No,
wait on
he's
Detective
here.
Malone.
He's here, Your Honor.
Oh, wonderful. All right. Mr. Jefferson, it's my understanding you've entered a not guilty plea to the disorderly conduct charge. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
And I understand there's a witness here as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. What's the witness's name?
Kiwanda Green.
Miss Green, Kiwanda Green.
Can I get you to spell your first name for me?
Yes, sir. Kewanda.
I'm sorry. Can you start over?
Yes, it's KEWANDA.
Yes. ANDA.
Yes,
Okay. And the last name is Green. Is it with an E at the end or without an E?
no E.
Okay. All right. Miss Kawanda Green. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. Everyone that is going to testify in this case, if you will please raise your right hand. Mr. Jefferson, if you will raise your right hand. Ms. Reed, Ms. Green, if you will raise your right hand. And Detective Malone, if you will raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. If so, say I do.
I do.
All right, Mr. Jefferson, do you have any questions before we begin this trial, sir?
No, sir.
All right, you were before the court on a disorderly conduct charge, which is a city ordinance violation here in Forest Park. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The city has the burden of proof. So first, I'm going to hear from Detective Malone, and then secondly, I'm going to hear from Ms. Green. You have the right to ask both of them questions if you so choose. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Once the city is finished presenting its case, you then have the right to tell me what happened. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, I may ask you a few questions, but disorderly conduct is usually where someone is acting loud and boisterous or in an unruly manner in the public. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, you've entered a not guilty plea. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, Detective Malone, can you please tell me where did this take place? Did it take place within the municipal boundaries of Forest Park, and what happened?
Yes, yes, Judge, it did. It happened at a 241 Falcon, which is an Economy Hotel. When I arrived on scene, I spoke to Mr. Jefferson, and I believe he had his fiance at the time, a girlfriend at the time with him. Speaking to him in reference to an incident that occurred prior to the disorderly conduct. At first, they were pretty calm and cool and collected. I talked to him, and when I began to talk to the other party of the incident, that's when they became disorderly, yelling across the parking lot of the Economy Hotel.
So this would have been Mr. Jefferson yelling at his girlfriend or yelling at someone else?
No, he was yelling at the other guy who he had got into an incident with.
Okay, all right, okay. And did this happen within the municipal boundaries of Forest Park?
Yes, sir.
And what day did this incident happen on?
I believe it was June. I'm sorry, I missed June.
Is it the offense date that I have is June the 26th of 2022?
Yes, that's right, Judge.
All right, Mr. Jefferson, is that your understanding when this took place?
Yes.
Okay, all right, Detective Malone, is there any, so the nature of this is because he and this other gentleman were yelling at each other and acting loud and boisterous in public. Is that what led to the charge?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, is there anything else that led to the charge?
No, Judge, the incident was totally different from the charge that they was given with the disorderly conduct. Prior to that, it was supposedly a fight. I was trying to resolve the issue, and while in the midst of resolving the issue, that's when Mr. Jefferson became very boisterous while I was talking to the to the other guy who was involved in the incident. I
right.
told them to quiet down and they kept getting loud.
Okay, so you asked Mr. Jefferson to calm down and he did not adhere to that directive?
Yes, Judge.
All right, okay. Mr. Jefferson, do you have any questions you'd like to ask Detective Malone?
When you told me to go back inside my room, did I not go back inside my room?
Yeah, but you also came back outside your room again.
All right. What is your next question, Mr. Jefferson?
That's the only question.
Okay. The next, let me hear from Ms. Green. Ms. Green, you have been sworn in. Can you tell me what happened on June the 26th of 2022 and why were you there at the extended hotel?
I was the general manager at that time of the Economy Hotel Forest Park.
Okay.
Mr. Jefferson and another gentleman had been arguing, and actually they had fought before, and I called the police, and Officer Malone arrived on the scene. He did tell Mr. Jefferson to go back in his room because he was boisterous, very loud, very boisterous. And Mr. Jefferson went in his room but came back. Mr. Jefferson has at several occasions been drunk and loud and boisterous on the property. That was not the first.
Okay. All right. And you witnessed his loud and boisterous behavior yourself?
Yes, sir, each time.
All right. Okay. All right. Mr. Jefferson, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask the Ms. Green?
Are you sure you're referring to me and not the other guy? Because I was not put off of the property for.
So Mr. Jefferson, this is the phase where you get to ask a question. So once you ask it, you got to let them answer. So your question is, are you sure you are referring to me? So Ms. Green, are you sure that this refers to Mr. Jefferson?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
This
she says it
refers
does refer to
directly
you.
him.
Now, Mr. Jefferson, you can ask your next question.
I don't have another question.
All right. All right. Are there any other witnesses besides Detective Malone and Ms. Green? All right. So Mr. Jefferson, the city has rested its case. Why don't you tell me what happened?
Well, I got off work.
And let me say this to you. You don't have to testify if you don't want to, but if you'd like for me to know the other side, you're more than welcome to tell me what happened.
Okay. I got off work and I was on my way to my room and I was talking to my girlfriend and a guy thought I was talking to him. And by the time I got to my door, he met me at my door. We got into a little argument. Then he was like, "You want to fight?" And then he basically swung at me, and I had to defend myself. And then Ms. Green came to my room. We talked for a second, and she asked me if I wanted to call the police because in order for him to be put out the premises, we had to call the police and make a report. So I agreed to it. And when the police came, I talked to the police for a second. Then he went back out to talk to the other guy. I then went outside, but I was going outside to get something out of my car. I wasn't going outside to talk to the other guy. And then the officer asked me to go back inside. I went back inside, and then he came back to my door and gave me a ticket. I didn't return back outside after he asked me to go inside.
Had there been previous incidents where Ms. Green had asked you to stop doing something, being loud or boisterous in public?
No, sir.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I'm very sure.
Okay. And then the officer says that you did go inside your unit, but you came back outside and you were loud and boisterous again. Are you saying that did not take place?
I didn't come out for a second time. I only came out one time. And when he asked me to return inside, I stayed inside.
Okay. All right. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, sir.
All right. So Detective Malone, can I call you back?
Yes, sir.
You have heard the testimony of Mr. Jefferson when he says when he came back outside that he did not say anything. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct. Once I spoke to him about the incident, I told them to go back into the room so I could speak with the other party that was involved in the incident. When I spoke to the other party that was involved with the incident, Mr. Jefferson and his girlfriend were, they were ear checking. They popped back out the room to listen to hear what was going on. And when they came back out to listen to what was going on, that's when they became very boisterous. I told them to quiet down, and they still kept on getting loud.
Okay, all right. Okay, and now Ms. Green, thank you, Detective Malone. Ms. Green,
Yes, sir.
are you sure, looking at Mr. Jefferson's face now on this screen, that there were other incidents, including that incident when he was loud and boisterous in public?
There were many, because he used to come in and I don't want to call him an alcoholic, but he was intoxicated many times and he would yell at the children. I should have actually put him off the property, but I didn't. I try to give the guests a chance, but he's been loud, boisterous, been in several incidents.
Okay, and on this particular occasion, he was loud and boisterous in public on the property.
Yes, sir. And
Okay.
and would not obey Officer Malone. Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, okay. Mr. Jefferson, I'm gonna let you get last word if there's something you'd like to say, sir.
I've never disrespected anyone on that property. I really think she's mistaking me for someone else. Because in the initial incident, she was in my room with me until the police came. And I actually talked to the police inside of my room.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Jefferson. Were there times that you were intoxicated on the property?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
But
were you intoxicated in public? Were you intoxicated in public?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to say, sir?
That particular incident, I didn't even talk to the officer initially outside. That's why I said I only came outside once. I was inside my unit when I talked to the officer in the beginning.
Okay.
That's why I came outside once.
Okay. Now, you said that your girlfriend was there with you. Is she a witness to this incident?
Yes.
Are you going to call her as a witness today?
Yes.
Okay, what is her name?
Jasmine Bird.
All right, where is she?
She's right here.
All right, Miss Bird.
Yes.
All right. Are you familiar with the incident in which Mr. Jefferson was charged with the offense of disorderly conduct?
Yes, I am.
Let me have you to please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? If so, say I do.
Yes, I do.
All right, why don't you tell me what happened on June 26th of 2022?
Okay. Yes, we had just returned. At that time he was doing property management, freelance property management. So we had just returned from a work order he had did. So he was asking me, did I have his bag, or was one of his tools in the bag inside of the room already? It was a gentleman upstairs, basically thinking that he was speaking to him. And basically, like, he came downstairs, got all in his face, saying, "Oh, what you say? What you say?" And then he actually swung on me. So that's how the fight began. He defended himself. So when the fight actually happened,
let me ask you, when you all were having this conversation, were you outside your unit or inside your unit?
we were actually walking up to the door. Well, I was walking up to the door. He was still in his car.
All right. Had he been drinking?
No, not at the time.
Not at that time. So what did he say to you that you think the other gentleman heard?
Basically, he was trying to get my attention. Like, he was saying, hey, because, like, basically it was a little distance between us. So once I turned around, dude was already like, "Huh, what you want? What you got something to say to me?"
Had they ever had any previous encounters?
No, that was the first.
Okay. And so then what happened?
So after the fight happened, Miss Kiwanda, she came to the room because he actually ended up with an injury. He was bleeding. So she came, poured water on him, was asking like, "Are you okay?" Telling us that the dude ran off the property. We was telling her what happened. That
I think that they have locked up, yeah.
So he has to go. He has to go. The only way I can get him basically off of the property if a police report is made.
Against the other gentleman, okay? And then what happened?
Hello?
Yeah, Miss Young lady, you were telling us what happened.
Okay, yes. So she was in the room, like I said, basically tending to him because he had an injury.
Okay, and so she says that at some point he went back outside the room.
No,
Is that correct?
he was outside of the room until the police officer came. And actually, in that case, okay, she was in the room. She made the call to the police officer. She went out, I guess, back to the office. The police officer arrived. He knocked on the door. He was basically sitting inside of the door, in a chair at that moment because he was getting some fresh air. And basically after the fight and everything. Like I said, he was bleeding like from his eyebrow, because of the fight. The police officer walked up. He
So,
asked
so
us,
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. You said that the gentleman swung at him. You all were outside the unit or inside the unit?
right in front of the unit.
So the guy came downstairs and swung at him. There was nothing said. He just walked up to him and swung at him.
He was already basically when he was still upstairs, he ran down the stairs, ran up in his face saying, "What you say? What you say?" and swung at him. Like not even just swung, he hit him.
Okay. So he ran downstairs just because he said, "What you say, what you say," and then he just ran up to him and hit it.
Yeah, because Antonio told him, "I wasn't talking to you, bro. Like, why are you talking to me?" The dude was already upset for whatever reason. Don't know, because that's the first interaction they ever had.
Okay. So they got into a fight and then he went inside the unit. And did he ever come back outside the unit?
No, not until the police officer came.
Okay. And when the police officer came, what did he do?
Like I said, just to be clear, the police officer came to the room. He got us to, tell him what happened. Told us to hold on. He basically asked for me to, write a statement. I was taking the statement back up to him. Basically, Antonio was going to get something out of his car at the same time. The officer told him, go back in the room, because the other party at that time, they were saying stuff to us. It wasn't a big scene or anything like that. We went back inside the room. The officer came back and gave a ticket, and that's it.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
The thing about I heard Miss Kiwanda saying that there was many incidents and that she should have been put him off of the property. Anytime we have ever encountered Miss Kiwanda, anything has always been pleasant, interactions, courteous interactions.
Well, let me ask you this. Were there incidents where he was intoxicated on the property?
No.
Okay. All right. So you can hear that Detective Malone's version of what happened is very different from what you're telling me. You can tell that from his testimony, can't you?
You're right. It's very cut and dry. It's not, a really accurate, like a full accurate statement of what happened that day.
And you can tell that Miss Green's version of what took place and the history of you all on that property is very different from what you're telling me right now. You all still at that property?
No.
Okay.
And we weren't put out. We just moved.
Okay. All right. Do you know why Miss Green's version is so different from yours?
Actually, I do not, because that's the thing. She was the one who actually was basically aiding him after the situation. It was basically, you know, like, are you okay? We need to get him off of this property. You know, I have to make a police report. I'm calling the police because I don't want him back on his property. Are you okay? You know, he has to go. He has to go. That were, you know, things that she said.
Well, let me ask you this. One thing she said is that she believes Mr. Jefferson has a drinking problem. Do you believe Mr. Jefferson has a drinking problem?
No, that day he, you know, he
Not
just
that
got,
day. I'm asking you, do you believe he has a drinking problem in general?
no.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right. Well, are there any other witnesses, Mr. Jefferson?
No, sir.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, sir.
All right. Mr. Jefferson, you've been charged with the offense of disorderly conduct, which is a city ordinance violation here in Forest Park. Based on the evidence that the court has heard, the court does find you guilty of the offense. The fine amount is $480. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to satisfy that in 2 weeks, or do you need a longer period of time to pay it?
A longer period is hard to pay.
All right, sir, because it's a city ordinance violation, the maximum time you can be placed on probation is 6 months. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You must comply with all terms and conditions within the first 4 months. Do you understand that?
Is it going to be a pay only probation?
It
Like-
is a pay only probation. Now,
will
but
it-
understand that if you have not paid it by the 29th day, you will have to start paying monthly probation fees. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, have you typed your name and email address in the chat?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Yates or Ms. Payton, do we have Mr. Jefferson's email information?
Yes.
All right. So, Mr. Jefferson, you're going to receive through your email your plea form, to which you will enter a not guilty plea. The court has found you guilty of this offense and has imposed a fine of $480. You will be placed on probation for 6 months, pay only probation. Once you receive your plea form, send that back through DocuSign. Then you will receive your probation information. Once you go on probation, please make sure that you comply, sir, because you can be brought before me on a probation revocation calendar. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions, Mr. Jefferson, that you want to ask me?
No.
All right, then, sir, you can disengage from this call, and thank you. Thank you, Ms. Green. Thank you,
Thank you,
Detective
Judge.
Malone. All right.
Next time, put a picture on there, and I'll bring a slew of witnesses.
I can hear you, Ms. Green.
I just muted her.
Thank you. Okay.
Judge Freeman, we have someone that signed in late in the waiting room, Sean Jones. Do you want
Yes.
them admitted?
Was this their first time on the trial calendar?
One moment. Yes, it is.
Okay. I can tell you to just tell him to come back. Well, if you want to, I'll go ahead and talk to him to see what his plea is.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Jones, please turn your video on.
Hello?
Yes, you need to turn your video on.
I gotta turn my camera on.
That is correct. All right. Young lady, you are late for court today, you have 3 charges. 2 of them will suspend your license. Do you understand that?
You said what?
You
It's
have,
breaking up a little bit. I'm sorry.
well, then I would suggest that you're going to have to get your internet a little better. You understand that? But can you
Yes.
hear me? Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You have 3 different charges. First of all, how old are you?
19.
Okay. Have we graduated from high school?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What high school did you attend?
Frank McLaren.
Okay. And you got your diploma or you got your diploma from there?
I got my high school diploma.
Okay.
I got my high school diploma.
Good. You have a charge of driving on suspended license at the time of the stop that you have a valid license.
No,
You're also charged with not having.
but I didn't know.
insurance. You may not have. You're also charged with failure to maintain insurance. At the time of the stop, was there valid insurance on the car?
No,
All right. And lastly, they're saying that the car was not registered. Do you know whether the vehicle you were operating was properly registered?
it was registered, but it just didn't have the tag for 2023.
Then that's what the registration is. Didn't have the tag for 20. Okay. So what is your plea to these charges? Is it not, you had previously had entered a not guilty plea. You've late for your court date. Your officer has been excused, or what is your plea today to these 3 charges? Is it not guilty, guilty, or nolo contendere?
I got a question.
Well, first tell me what your plea is and then ask your question.
Can you say it to me again?
Excuse me?
Can you repeat it?
What is your plea to the charges, young lady? Not guilty, guilty, or nolo contendere?
What nolo contendere mean?
Nolo contendere will keep your license out of suspension, but you will have to pay some pretty substantial fines for these offenses. So that's what the nolo plea can do if you are eligible. You can only plead nolo once every 5 years. So have you pled nolo within the last 5 years?
I'm not sure why I cannot just do time. Why I can't just do time for the tickets?
You mean time in jail?
Yes.
Okay, I can convert this to time in jail if that's what you would prefer. But first, I need to know your plea. What is your plea?
So I still gotta do a plea if I do time in jail.
That is correct. I need to know what your plea is because that will determine what the sentence is.
Guilty.
Are you
Guilty.
entering a guilty plea to all 3 charges?
Yeah.
Do you understand that by entering into the plea that you are waiving your right to a trial? Do you understand that?
Correct.
And do you also understand that by entering into the plea that you're doing this without the assistance of a lawyer?
Correct.
And do you believe it is in your best interest to enter into the plea?
Correct.
Let me tell you what the fine amount is, and then I will tell you what the correlating jail time is. So here's what I need for you to do. If your preference is to serve time in jail, I need for you to report on this. So what I'm gonna do is reset this for you to report to court on next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. And I will finalize the sentence on this case, and then I can convert it, give you jail time. Do you understand that?
Okay, so okay.
So we're
No
gonna
problem.
accept your guilty plea. Your guilty plea has been accepted. What is your email address?
Sean Jones.
Slow down, spell it out, please. Spell it out, please.
SHUN.
Mhm.
JONES
Mm-hmm.
1111 at yahoo.com.
Okay, so your email address is seanjones11@yahoo.com. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, is there an adult around you who you take advice from?
Yes.
Are they there with you right now?
Yes, up front. I can get them to come in the room.
Okay, because I want them to know that you're preferring to go to jail rather than pay this fine.
I'm at 80.
So why don't you go get one of them? I'd like to know who is the adult. Is this your mom or your dad?
It's my sister,
How old is she?
32.
Where's your mother or your father?
I don't live with my mama or my dad. I live with my sister.
You live and she's 32 years old.
Yes.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to do is you're going to get a new court date for sentencing to report to the court on next Wednesday at 8 o'clock in the morning. Do you understand that?
Hold on, let me write it down.
You need to report to Forest Park next Wednesday at 8 o'clock for sentencing.
All right. And if I do,
I
if I'm
can't hear
doing
you,
that,
young lady. I can't hear you. All right. So I need for you
Okay,
to
I'm sorry.
report to court on next
If-
Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Do you understand that?
Yes. And what's the fine? Could you tell me the fine?
The fine is $1,478. And you will either pay that or serve 90 days in jail and be released. And I will see you next Wednesday at 8 o'clock for you to start serving your sentence. Do you understand that? Since that's what you asked for.
And the fine is only $1,400. Last time I came to court, it was like 2,000 something.
Well, the fine is $1,478, but it sounds like you said you'd rather go to jail than pay the fine, so I'm gonna let you go to jail. So I will see you next Wednesday at 8 o'clock, and if you decide that you want to change your mind, you and I can talk about it then. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. Ms. Yates or Ms. Payton, do you all have her email address?
Yes, I have her email address. Ms. Jones, do you reside at the address on Headland Drive? The address that was on the ticket? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She says she does reside at that address?
That's what I understood.
Okay, then young lady, we will see you in court next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Okay? In person, not in virtual court. You need to come to the courthouse in Forest Park. You understand that?
All right.
All right, we will see you then. Thank you. You can disengage from the call. All right, do we have anybody else?
Yes, Your Honor, we have Attorney from Golding's office, the Golding firm, and this is in reference to the revocation hearing of Fambro.
Yes.
But I thought she was to be at PPS. Is your client at PPS? Oh, he's coming here as well, and it's at 9:30? Yeah. Okay, because they haven't signed on yet, so how do you want to proceed with that?
If they sign on, we can handle it. If not, we will see what's going on. How are you doing, counsel?
Good morning, Judge. How are you?
Good. I don't know anything about this matter with Fambro, but I know you will bring me up to date on it, but let me get probation involved. I did understand there was something going on at 9:30. So let me give them the benefit of signing in and hearing what is going on. I assume your client was on probation. and they are alleging that your client has violated their probation. Is that correct?
Well, actually, no, Judge. I actually filed a petition to terminate probation about a week ago or so, because at our last probation hearing, you told him that he would serve 150 days and then he could petition the court and within 60 days, provided that he doesn't have any negative or any positive drug screens and that he doesn't refuse any drug screens, that he reports to probation on time and that they can verify his job. And so he's done all of those things and everything. And the only issue that they had was something with verifying his job. And we just decided that the judge should just hear about it instead of him having to keep reporting to probation, especially.
So let me just say this to you. If you only filed this 5 days ago, it's not right for a hearing that. Yeah, they, you know, you do know they're entitled to time to respond, and it's usually 30 days.
I thought it was 10 days within a hearing for 10 days.
No, not for probation revocation, it's not. So, okay. So they are entitled to, so you said you filed this 5 days ago?
Actually, I filed it on January 20th. I e-filed it to Ms. Green, so that was well within.
You found it to me?
No, well, let me say something to you, young lady. E-filing it, yeah, no. I understand your point. Do you have a stamp file copy of when it was filed?
So I sent it to Ms. Green. I
Okay.
asked her, how do I file a document? And if I can e-file it, she said I can send it to her, but usually they send it to email address. And so I emailed it to Ms. Green and CC that Forest Park, whatever the email address was that she sent
Okay.
me. And then
So
I
let me
asked
just
her
get you to
just-
do this for me in the future, okay?
Okay.
It doesn't sound like it was e-filed. It sounds like you just emailed it in. But why don't we, do you have a copy of it today? Let's go ahead and get that stamp file because I need to act on stamp file copies and I don't think this one has been stamp filed, which is probably why I don't have.
Sony. Yeah, you did send it.
But let me see if probation comes on and I will just deal with everyone. Let me just see if they come on at 9:30. So if it's something I can address today, I will. If not, I do need to give them a little bit of time to deal with this. And I need to be sure that this was brought into the court. Not that I'm blaming you for anything that you did, because it sounds like you did the best that you could do, but in the future, make sure you get a stamp file copy. Because, you know, judges act from stamp file copies. We don't act from when something was emailed. But let me just see what's going on. So let's give them a few moments. Ms. Green, if you'll reach out to probation and see if they are able to handle this now, or I'm gonna be available pretty much all day today. So I could do it later today. If not, we'll need to reschedule this for another day.
Yes, they have the link. I think Ms. Johnson just texted me, so hopefully they'll be logging in now.
Okay, well, let's let them log in and let me just see what is going on. Can we get whatever pleading she's talking about stamp filed, and can I get a copy of it, or have you already sent it to me?
Absolutely. Well, yes, I will. She sent it to all of us, but I will stamp it and send it to you.
Yeah. And we don't have e-filing in Forest Park, do we?
Not necessarily. We usually get them to, they either do the email and a regular mailing. But I wasn't too familiar. I remember the case, but I know that it was being handled by probation.
Okay.
So, but she did send it in to us on the 20th. And she
Okay, well, I'm not disputing that, because I don't think that she would say that if she didn't do it. What I'm saying is Forest Park does not have an e-filing system. So we don't have it. So I don't want us telling people that we don't have an e-filing system. I think what you were saying is if she e-filed it to you, that you all would stamp it. But if we're gonna do that, let's make sure that we stamp file it and then send it back out to council, so that they will know that this thing has in fact been filed. Yeah, and that's what sounds like didn't happen, but let's get probation on here. And if we can deal with it now, we can. If not, I will just reschedule this for a little later time, council. So if you'll just have a seat, I'm sure probation will come on and we'll hopefully deal with this sooner than later, okay?
Okay, Thank you, Judge. And
All right,
then
no
do you
problem.
want me to log on my own Zoom link or just use?
Oh, no, if you're right there in the courtroom, you can use the laptop that's right there.
Okay, thank you. No
Oh,
problem.
no problem.
You can go. I'm gonna just see if I can get, because they have revocation scheduled for 10. I wanna. Hey, this Angela. Hey, we got, the attorney is here with me. Is the client with you? Okay, so he's over at PPS. Mhm. Yeah, you guys can come over. That'll work. Okay, all right. If they're all coming over here, then yes. Your Honor, I'm not sure if you heard that, but they're actually en route here.
Yes.
So do you want to continue or just schedule for later?
If they're on the way, what time will they be there?
They're literally around the corner. I would say at least before 10 o'clock.
Okay, so why don't we just say that we will do this at 10 o'clock?
Okay,
All right, if we'll let council know that we will have the hearing at 10 o'clock.
okay, thank you.
All right. Okay.
Ms. Yates and Ms. Payton.
Yes.
Just FYI, we have all the parties in courtroom once the judge comes back on.
Okay, thanks.
I am back on and ready to go.
All right, Judge, we're ready to.
Okay. And I'm sending you a text, Anda.
I'm sorry, say that again, Judge.
I'm sending you a text
Okay,
regarding the meeting tomorrow at 11.
yes, sir.
All right. Okay. All right. Do we have all the parties ready to go?
Yes, sir.
All right, can I please have the probation officer who knows most about this and counsel to come to the laptop so that I can see and hear from both of you all?
Okay, Ms. Johnson is on her way up.
All right, thank you. How are you doing, sir?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good.
How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Good morning, Your Honor. How are you?
How are you doing, Ms. Johnson? And I think and Attorney Golding is there as well?
She is.
Okay. Is this our only probation revocation matter today?
It is, sir.
Okay. So why don't we have a pretrial so that I don't have any paperwork, so I just want to get some clarification as to what's going on. So Attorney Golden was sharing with me that she was moving to have her client's probation terminated early because she felt that most, if not all, conditions had been met, I think except for one. And because you all could not agree on that, you want to just bring it back in front of me regarding whether or not I wanted to waive that one condition. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. He did provide documents. He did complete everything with the exception of reporting last month to be drug screened, and he is in arrears of his probation fee of $98. As I explained to his attorney, when I attempted to verify his employment, the place that he provided with the Secretary of State stated that their business administration is dissolved. But he did provide the document that he does work there, but again, I wasn't able to verify.
Okay, so let's kind of tell me. Okay, first let's start with this. What were the conditions? Tell me what the conditions were.
The condition is that he would serve 150 days after he was released. He was to get gainful employment, report monthly, and be drug screened.
Okay, so he was supposed to serve 150 days on probation after he's released?
No, when he was in jail, he served 150 days.
Okay, and then what was the next condition?
He, within 60 days of being released, he could petition the court, provided that he met all the conditions.
And I'm saying, what were those conditions? That's what I'm asking. What were those conditions?
Monthly drug screens.
Okay, has he been doing that? At each one, I'm gonna ask, has he been doing monthly drug screens?
With the exception of last month, sir.
And why didn't he do last month?
He called on his first appointment and rescheduled for the 30th, and when on the 30th, he didn't report, stated that he would just come to court with the court date that I gave him.
So he didn't do his monthly drug screen for January.
Correct, but the other ones that he reported, he did come in and pass.
Okay, and then what was the next condition?
He was supposed to provide proof that he was gainfully employed.
Proof of gainful employment, and on that one, the company you said he worked for, they allowed their corporate existence to be administratively dissolved.
Correct.
All right, he really can't control that, but what's the name of the company?
It states Winners Circles Design.
Winners
Circle Designs with a Z. He stated this was a relative business that he was working for. I believe it was a car wash, t-shirt business.
T-shirt printing.
Yeah, t-shirt.
And does he have any pay stubs or anything that shows that he was working there?
He did provide a pay stub from December.
And how many pay stubs has he provided?
Just for December.
And was that a bi-monthly or was it a monthly pay stub?
This was just look like it's a week, bi-weekly.
So it's, hold on, when you say it's bi-weekly, you mean it's
80
He get-
hours,
He gets paid $80. It was for 80 hours?
correct.
And what time period was that for?
November the 20th to December the 3rd.
Okay. And did he provide any pay stubs since then?
No, sir.
And had he provided any before then?
No, sir.
All right. And then what was the next condition?
That was it, sir.
Okay. Counsel, let me hear from you now.
Morning, Judge. And
Hey
so,
there.
so as far as the probation goes, at our last revocation hearing, you said that if he completed everything within the 60 days, that you would let him off probation. And so that's why the 60 days would have been November and December. He was released from Clayton County Jail October 22nd, 2022, and then that's why.
Okay, slow down. So let me just say he was released on October the 22nd of 2022, and I said he would be on probation for 60 days.
At least 60 days, yes.
So that would have taken us up through, I guess, December 21 of 2022.
Yes, Judge. And within that time frame of November and December, he didn't receive any positive drug screens. He didn't refuse any drug screens. He reported to probation on time, and he reported each time. And then once he did find a job, he did submit his pay stubs and everything. And so I filed the petition to terminate January 20th. And so when probation did reach out to Mr. Fambro to report, thank you. When Mr. Fambro did reach out to probation about reporting, he was just a bit confused as to why he was still reporting, because I had submitted the petition and that he shouldn't really be on probation, and then we was waiting on a court date. And so because Ms. Johnson told him that if he didn't report, that he would have a court date of February 8th and he could tell the judge, we thought it was best that we just report on the February 8th date so that we could get in front of a judge, because it seemed like we wasn't getting anywhere with the petition to terminate. And now we see why, because when we talked earlier, the e-file thing, and it just was never file stamped. And so that's probably why it wasn't a court date. And so we just wanted to get in front of you, Judge, and so you can hear the case and hear that he did do everything with probation. He did comply with the 60 days. And the only time he didn't report was last month. And that was so that he could get in front of you so you can hear what had been happening, and that he did comply, and that he can pay the $98 today if the court deems necessary. He can take a drug screen today if the court deems necessary and pass it. And then I did speak with his manager earlier just now while we were sitting, because when Ms. Johnson did notify me that she looked up the Secretary of State and that it had showed up dissolved, I did speak with him and asked him to send me an accurate and updated version, and he did send that to me. He sent it over to Jakari's phone, and I do have it if Ms. Johnson wants to see it or if the court wants to see it as well.
So, okay, so he is saying now that he works at Winning Circle Design.
Yes, sir.
He has a pay stub from November 20th through December the 3rd.
Yes, sir.
Do we have any pay stubs from October 22nd up through November 20th?
No, sir.
All right. Counsel, do you know if he was working during that time?
Yes, Judge, he was working during that time.
And where was he working, and what proof of employment does he have?
So he was still working with the Winner Circles Designs, and Jakari, do you have pay stubs for that time period? And so he's getting them from his manager, because what he does is it's their app on his phone that he clocks into and everything. And so when he first showed that to Ms. Johnson, she said that she couldn't use that as verification and that she actually needed pay stubs. And so that's why he's in the process of now trying to get it from his manager as well. And so he can provide that to the court as well.
Okay. And how do you know, counsel, how is he paid? Is he W-2 or is he 1099?
I want to say he's 1099. Independent contractor. Are you a W-2 or 1099?
Does he have his 1099 from 2022?
You calling me. Do you have 1099 from 2022? So, Judge, I believe he just started this job once he was arrested and his probation was revoked, because prior to that he was signed to a record label and working on a music career. But once he was incarcerated, the label basically dropped him, and that's a story for another day. And so that's when he had to get another job, and then he started just working this t-shirt designs.
Okay, but what I'm saying is I'm going by the dates that you all are telling me. If he got out on October the 22nd, and I understand he was supposed to get gainful employment upon his release. And what I'm trying to find out is, when did he get gainful employment? If he is a 1099, then he would have his 1099 by now.
Judge, do you want his manager is actually on the phone now?
Yeah. What I'm trying to do, counsel, is just, I think that, let me just tell you what I want to do, okay? I just simply need to document his employment, okay? And I need to document it in a way that I have a legal basis to release him.
Yes,
So I need for you to, and we're not there yet. So I don't need to talk to his manager. If he's working someplace, they're going to give him pay stubs. He's going to get those. He should give those to you. By now, he would have his 1099 from last year. He should give that to you. All of that is what verifies his employment. So yes, I do need that. So ask him to give that to you. Until I have modified his sentence, he has a requirement to do everything that he's supposed to do on probation. So he had no business not getting drug tested in January, and he had no business not complying, because until I've signed an order, he's still under the court supervision. So that does trouble me a little bit, but I understand that maybe you were under the misbelief that he didn't have to do anything, but of course he has to do something.
No, Judge, we weren't under that misbelief. We just wanted a court date and we wanted to get in front of you so that you can hear the case. And so that was the best way to get a court date, because when I filed a petition to terminate, it didn't go anywhere. And I also emailed you, Judge, and emailed I guess whoever the solicitor here is, and I emailed everyone in this courtroom basically multiple times about it, and I had gotten anywhere. And so when Ms. Johnson did tell him, like, if you don't report, I'm gonna give you a court date of February 8th, I said, let's just take that court date, because otherwise we're just gonna keep going in this loop and circle of not being able to verify the job, and you're just reporting for months and it's just the same thing. So I want the judge to tell us, what do you need from employment or from Mr. Fambro to, terminate this probation? So if you need a 1099, now we know that, and so we can provide that.
Okay, so here is what we're going to do. Just understand this, counsel. You are entitled to a probation revocation calendar within 30 days of the filing, because everybody needs to have the right to respond. So let's start there. Let's set a court date for March. Let's go ahead and set it right now. When you come back in March, he is continuing on probation for January and February. Whatever the requirements are, he needs to do. If he's working at this place, he needs to provide the pay stub. All right, for all this time, he needs to provide all of that. When we come back up in March, if everything is done, then I will look at terminating his probation.
Okay, yes, Judge. And
So let's go ahead and set a date right now for March. And then we're going to go over all the things, counsel, that he needs to do before then, okay?
And Your Honor, may I add that just listening to counsel, she stated that the defendant was not working at this place last year. Is that correct?
No, she said he wasn't working there the whole year, because he couldn't have started working there until after he got out in October.
And that's why I explained to counsel, because looking at his pay stub from the whole year, he made over $29,000. So that's what I wanted her to verify, whether or not he was working there or not, because if not my correction, I heard her say that he was working for a record label and he just started this job. So I just wanted verification.
That manager has always been his. So basically, when he got signed to the label, I mean, I don't know if you're familiar, Judge, but you can choose whichever manager you would like. And so that manager that he chose is also the manager of this same business. And so that manager has their own business. And that was the manager when he was on the record label or whatever it was.
So Attorney Golden, I will tell you, I am vaguely familiar with what you're talking about, but you're not talking foreign to me. But let me just say this to you. You do know that this relationship could be a little concerning to people. All right. So I'm gonna leave that up to you on what you feel like you need to report to me. But I assumed that the record label got him this job. I just assumed that. I just need documentation, okay? And then I can do my job, but it probably doesn't help his situation that the record label got him this job and the record label owns this company, and this company is not staying current with the Secretary of State, which means it's not a legitimate entity here in the state of Georgia. That just, the optics of that just doesn't look good, okay? But if that's all he got, I'm gonna go with it. But I need for you, as an officer of the court, because I'm relying on what you're saying. I just need him to be working at a legitimate employer that provides him with documentation of his employment. The employer is in good standing with the Secretary of State, and he's getting all the paperwork that you and I get in our jobs, including now, since it's February, if he's a 1099, he'd have one, although I don't know how he could be a 1099 at a t-shirt place. I don't understand that, but if that's what he's telling you, but okay. But I just think the sooner he does everything he's supposed to do, he can get off of probation, okay? So that is my concern right now. A lot of this is outside of his control, which means maybe he needs to go get another job someplace that's legitimate. But if he's gonna go with this, I expect the same level of paperwork that he would have. So that's the first thing. Yes, he does need to undergo the drug screens. So he missed January. Yes, he does need to do one in February. And he's gonna need to do one in March, okay? And now let's just set a hearing so that you can get what you need to legitimize his existence. And now he knows the company he's working with is questionable. I'm gonna let him make a decision as it relates to what he wants to do. But if it comes back and if it's still questionable in March, I'm gonna have the same question. So I'm gonna give him a little time to clean it up. If not, just go get another job. Okay? So let's set a date for March. Ms. Green, let's set a date for maybe the 3rd or 4th Wednesday in March. And I'm assuming council's gonna have everything. She'll get it to us in advance. And if she does, this could be dispensed of very quickly. If for some reason there's a problem, I know she'll reach out and let us know immediately.
Your Honor, we have on the calendar, March 8th for revocations. Is that okay, or did you want another date?
It needs to be a little later because I want to get 2 drug testing in there, and I want to give him an opportunity, because this ain't his lawyer's responsibility. I want to give him an opportunity to clean up this employment situation, although tell him I totally understand this arrangement. It's just that for probation and for me to terminate him, he needs to clean this up.
Yeah, and I will be doing a drug screen here in court today. I am prepared to do that.
So you can do one today and then you'll do one in March.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so why don't we set this for the 3rd or 4th week in March, Wednesday. And council, check your schedule. I don't anticipate it's going to be a long time. And if we have court at 8 and 1, if you want to do it at 8, that's fine. If you want to do it at 1, I know that 8 o'clock may be a little early for some young folks, but I'll leave it up to you.
Your Honor, she's saying the 15th works for her.
All right, let me look at something. Okay, the 15th is great.
And judge just will report here or in Zoom or probation office. I can do it here. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, why don't you just come there to, why don't you just come to the municipal court? Do you all want to do the 8 o'clock calendar or the 1 o'clock calendar?
I have no preference.
All right, probation, do you want to do 8 or 1?
Let's do 1, sir.
Okay. Let's do the 1 o'clock calendar on the 15th. And council, let me just ask you, it will go a long way if you can show me pay stubs from the time he got out at some legitimate place. And by now he's gonna have a 1099 or a W-2. I need to see that.
Yes, sir.
And if you now found out that it doesn't look clean, that gives you a little time to clean this up a little bit, okay? And if you come back and say, Judge, I need a little bit more time, I'm gonna give it to you, because to me, this ain't your responsibility. I think you're doing a yeoman's job, but I'm very familiar with what he does and how he does it. And I know he's gonna have a very promising future doing what he's doing, but let him know on the legal side, we just need a little bit more documentation, that's all.
Yes, Judge, no problem. Thank you.
Okay, so you take as much time as you need, and thank you for what you're doing for him. I hope he appreciates your zealousness, because, and can he hear me?
Yes, Judge.
All right, please let him know that but for what you did, he would not have gotten a hearing this fast. He just needs to understand that. So while he may operate on, that ain't the way it operates. Tell him it's gonna be 30 or 60 days at the earliest. But you've done a yeoman's job getting this hearing this fast. It won't happen again, but hey, you did a good job, and I tip my hat to you, okay? All right, we will see everybody back here on March the 15th at 1 o'clock.
Thank you, Judge. Have a
Oh,
good
no
day.
problem. You take care.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
That's
So
it.
let us have our little court session that we always